Okay, we're ready to talk about the roles that make up our life. So by the end of this lesson, we will identify all roles that are currently in your life. And the way you want to think about this is, what are the things that take your time? And then we'll also talk about the things that aren't taking your time. Maybe they're roles you want to be important in your life, but you've yet established habits or time or anything around them. So let's talk about those things. So what we want to do here is, on a piece of paper, and there's an attachment at the bottom in the download section, and both in PDF for you to print out and use, or if you want to keep it electronic, there's a Word document. And what we want to do is we want to list out all of the roles that you currently have in your life. Now, I've had people that sometimes struggle with this and overcomplicate it. Don't try to get it so specific, like brother to a sister, brother to a brother, you don't just, if you've got extended family, maybe that's its own role. If there's a lot of time around extended family, try to get the blocks as connected as possible. So if extended family kind of fits in its own block, you'll see spouse, parent, usually for younger kids takes a lot of time. If your kids are out of the house, maybe they just become extended family like the rest of your extended family. It just depends on your relationship. I'm not going to dictate how you list them out. But what you don't want to do is have 20 roles here. That's not the way you want to try to micro break out all your roles. You want to break out the roles that take up the bulk of your time. And so these are just some examples. I've used, instead of homeowner, I've used COO because it's usually around some kind of fixing up this and fixing up that. For those of you that own a home, you understand. So use your own descriptions that matter to you. I've had people that instead of using athlete, health nut, whatever works. Use your vocabulary, not mine. These are just examples to try to spark your imagination as to where are you spending time in your life. You also want to write down the things where you need to be better and you're not giving them time today. For a long time, pet owner didn't show up on my list because my wife and I weren't putting time towards our pets. So we started dedicating more time, and that became a bigger part of our lives. You'll want to intentionally find areas that you may today not be giving time where you need to. Usually these are around relationships. Maybe it's your friends, maybe it's your extended family. Whatever it is, if you're not giving it time at all today, put it down. If reading is important to you and you're not doing it, that's my student role, is where I put reading. But if you want to read more, and that's just going to be a role you're going to give time to where you're giving 0 today, put it down as a role that you want to give time to. And we'll see if we can establish that in upcoming sections on giving it more time. That's going to be through establishing habits. So just list all the roles that either take your time or that you're trying to get time into today that you're not being successful with. So real quick words of advice, and this comes from many, many workshops. If this is your first time, don't be afraid to list more than 8 roles. I've had people go as far as 12. Any more than that, you're probably going to start having so much interference that it's going to be hard to get anything other than your primary roles down. There's going to be things that just naturally take up time. Being a spouse, whether you're there or not, is going to take up your time. Being in your career work takes up time, whether you want it to or not. Being a parent takes up time. No matter how much you try to escape it, it's going to be there and it's going to pull you in. So there's going to be certain roles that are going to demand time. There are other roles that are a little bit more optional. You can all cut your friends out. They can cut you out. And those are things that you'll find you'll have to give more intentionalness to. So make sure that if this is your first workshop, it's okay to go more than 8. If you've done this before and you're doing it for a second, third, fourth time, as you'll have lifetime access to this course, go ahead and try to limit it to your best guesses of 8. Even if you find out at the end of the year that there was one role that got no time and there was this new role, maybe you became kind of healthcare for elderly parents, healthcare worker, however you would title that, parental care. And it became a bigger thing that you didn't know going into the year. That's some things like that may happen. Recovering from a flood or something that you just hadn't predicted. All of a sudden this takes up a lot of your time. You had an insurance event that just occurred, and now that's taking a lot of your focus and time. That's not something you can predict going into the year, and if it hits you, just make sure you start accounting for it as soon as you can, because it's going to adjust all your other goals. And give yourself a break if something came up that you just couldn't have predicted. It's okay. Move along with it and then reset goals next year. And so try not to go over 8 if you've done this course before and you're trying to really hit it head on and get something out, get the most out of it that you can. So you want to list everything that you're spending time on, and if you're not getting the time, as I've said before, list it out, and we'll try to put habits and one-time occurrences around it in upcoming parts of the workshop to make sure it starts getting the time it needs. It's never too late. There's no such thing. There's many adjustments I made well after I started doing goal setting, where I said, I'm going to commit to doing something more in this role, and I did. Or there was another role that I was clearly not serious about, and I finally just took it off the list because I was like, you know what? It's really just not that important to me. I keep thinking it's going to be important to me, and it's not. And that's okay too if you come to that realization. So just make sure you try to limit, because time is limited. You've only got 24 hours in the day, so it's hard to get 25 roles in, if you see what I'm saying. So now we've got the list. In conclusion, for this lesson, we've got the list of roles that make up you. And now we want to take those and make sure we write them down, because we're going to take each of those individually in an upcoming section and break those out even further with success, what success means in that role, and what the success factors are along that. So your action item is in the download below. Write down all of the roles that make you up.